everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Total Sports Podcast. I am Sydney alongside Yannick, Shem, and Caleb, and today we'll be talking about some trending sports news. So let's get into it. First on our agenda, we have Unveil Company and the TTFA fallout over the national under-17 team playing in the Footy Fest tournament. So, Yannick, any thoughts on that?
See, I don't like how the entire thing played out because because two things, right? You're denying the under 17 team to be playing, getting games in under this system. It don't have to be like fully competitive games because at the same time, you don't want them to be feeling any kind of tired or kind of fatigued and things. But at the same time, you're also denying other opportunities for growth in the sport in the sense that you're giving the players who in that All-Star game, you're giving them opportunity to play against the national 17 teams, so which is considered the top talent in the country who go in and play a competition, right? And at the same speed, you're denying yourself, TTFA, the opportunity to look at the talent pool that you have, right? So you might be looking at these players maybe 1 or 2 years down the road thinking, some of these players who are 15 and 16, they can maybe on the 17 team as well at some point in time, if maybe they have to make some adjustments in the setup. So I think it's a missed opportunity on both sides, and just to get a sense of how the football, how the players getting a chance in terms of just getting game time and the belt time.
So my question would be, who exactly is the fallout between? Is it the national team or the coaches? Who said no?
I think it was the coaches that came to the end and said that they didn't want.
Yeah, the coaches actually disapproved of the whole thing because they didn't really have backing from the secondary school coaches.
So for me, I feel like I agree with the coach's decision, right? And it's mainly because the national team is going into a serious competition.
Right.
And yes, I understand that you're talking about giving other youths a chance. Didn't the coach already he has already selected his team going into the competition?
Yeah, but not necessarily to pick players then and now to put them on the team. But just to look at the possible players that they could pull in the future.
No, I understand that, right? But what I'm saying is the fact that I put myself in the position of the coach, right? Every game that the national team plays onwards is somewhat a developmental game. Something to tweak, something to fix. So putting the team into that kind of atmosphere, it wouldn't be considered let me be real, right? You and I going and play a big tournament. Let me put us to go and sweat on a random, let me just say a fat match.
Right.
We wouldn't take the sweat match as serious as we would take a game.
Right.
So the coach would not see the potential or the problems that they really need because the players won't push.
This is why I was saying too, because you're favoring this fat match over actual opportunities for them to actually play other teams, other countries as well in friendlies.
Right.
So you could actually see the technical skills and where the technical work is needed.
Now you're saying the national team might not take it seriously, but what about the players that looking to get onto the national team at some point? You think they would take that seriously, and then the other players are like, okay, this is a real game that we play now.
They could take it seriously. They could take it seriously.
Yeah.
They could take it seriously. But when you're favoring that over other opportunities, because remember, yes, we're playing with these guys in Trinidad here, but then we're looking to be competitive. If you're denying these players friendly matches, in all these other countries, but you still have time for a footy match, and you still could afford a footy match, I'm saying that the other players would not get a chance to prove themselves because there's always opportunities after
the competition,
but not when the under-17s really need work to see where they're at and where they need to be. You're playing this footy match. For me, that is where the disparity is.
I agree with that. No, and then I agree with Yannick's point of view, with it saying that you can see the potential of these other players could raise the tempo, right?
At least bring your scouts to watch the tournament.
No, that could happen. That could have happened where they send the scouts, but not let the under-17 play. Because if I'm watching my scouts, if my scouts go, they could always say, all right, let's say for example, Trinidad decides they want to have an exhibition match against Barbados in Barbados. They could always say, well, all right, in the Footy Fest, while we were training to play Barbados, I saw 3 or 4 players that could actually enhance the team or not necessarily replace the players, but at that point in time,
Yeah, you have some.
you have some people who
Right.
you'll have, let me say, 4 or 5 other players lined up for the position, which would actually grow the competition within the team instead of pitting these players against each other in that kind of setting.
For example, like what I think they should have done is like after the season, the regular secondary school season, you know, it have a mixture of different players from different ages. So it can make a all-star 11, have them play like the under 17 and even the other younger national teams and see where talent could be added or subtracted. So you know, going forward, when these national teams have opportunities to go outside and play friendlies and play these competitive games, it means that we have all the quality that Trinidad has to offer, because the SSFL is one of the areas where we actually see the quality of the players. So, as I was saying, you combine our All-Star 11 and then you play the under 17 or whatever team that you have. And moving forward, then, as you were saying, like if the under 17 go to Barbados, as you were saying, where you know we have these players from the All-Star that they could take that, or even if some didn't make the All-Star team, you recognize that even though he mightn't have all the technical skill, I could work with this player and bring him to a level where he could be competitive for the national team.
You think that I wouldn't say unnecessary injuries because you play football, but you think that they don't want to take the chances of getting an injury risk in what they would call a fet match, in a fet match situation that they believe it was?
I believe that is also on the thinking process of the coach as well.
It was a consideration as well, because when you don't really have the favor of different coaches, there's a problem. I mean, they're not getting paid for that.
No.
But there's regardless of that, you still have the favor of the coaches. Well, I know, you could take part in that because it would develop their players. But if they don't really favor that kind of setting, then you need to pull it back a little bit and question, right, how can we go forward to maximize productivity in this setting? And if the coach is not backing it, what can we do? How can we ask the advice or tips or to improve it? Because at the end of the day, the goal is not just to entertain. Remember, we still have young talent to nurture and
To develop, and at the end of the day, try to win a tournament at the same speed if we could. Yeah. So I think the only thing that kind of thing me from this is that the school players just missing out on opportunity. That's the only thing for me that kind of upsets me about this whole
Not to
situation.
carry it on, but they're not missing out, because though yes, there's Footy Fest, but they were still they're still the under 19 competition that they had going on in December.
Yeah.
So it's not that they're missing out. They might be the ones who are not on clubs, but they're not missing out. They just have to find clubs close to them to develop their skills.
Yeah. So we're moving right along to the 2022 TTFA Footballer of the Year, Levi Garcia. So I'm going to read some of his stats. Levi Garcia, he's currently 25 years old. He plays for AEK Athens. He joined the team on September 16, 2022. Thus far, he had 18 appearances, 10 goals, 3 assists, and 1 yellow card. So, Shem, what are your thoughts on his performance?
I like that smile, Sean.
I feel Levi is one of the best so far in our team. He is a player that our national team is supposed to build around. Not to big him up to give him like a ego, but he should be one of the players that we look to expect the rest of our generations of football to continue. Levi has the potential of playing Champions League football next year. Matter of fact, his team is on course to qualify for Champions League. But I would expect Levi to either play for, let's say, by next 2 years, at least make either a big transfer, praying to God that he doesn't get injuries, That is a difficult thing for footballers.
He keeps his form as well.
Yeah.
True. That he doesn't get an injury or nothing crazy happens, that he could get a big team sign, either into I would say the Prem, and I would say the Bundesliga. I can see him fitting perfectly in the Bundesliga.
I wouldn't say the Prem, because yes, the Prem has its demand, but for him right now, because of the league he plays in, it's not a top 5 league. So with regards to like the logistics aspect of league thing, we might have a little hiccup there.
Yeah.
So and we don't at the stage that he is in and the form that he is in, I don't think that would be the best for him right now. It'd be easier for him to go somewhere like, as you say, Bundesliga or League, no? I think those places would have the best demand for him with regards to his strength, to building his strength and his technical skills, clinical skills as well. So that when he has built up that experience in a top 5 league, he can make that transfer to the Prem. And I could see him playing with one of the mid-tables like Brighton or even Newcastle to an extent if he could keep that form as a substitute player, because he
They could definitely afford him.
Yeah.
Is this you trying to say the Prem is the best league?
No, I'm not saying the Prem is the best league, but the physicality of the Prem, the Prem is very demanding compared to the other 5 leagues. So, and for him to improve himself and his career, I would like him to get experience in the Prem, and especially in a team that demands plenty from him.
So like for me, why I said the next 2 years is because Levi is 25.
Right.
I can't wait too long, but I'll get to that just now.
They in the world of football by the age 28, 29, they're expecting him to retire by 65. So he doesn't have as much time to get into a top 5 league. So that's the reason I said the next 2 years I'm looking. His managers should be looking to keep him on form and build him for a better team.
For sure.
I can't wait 2 years for this guy. Like you say, he's going to be at least 27, 20 by the time that rolls around. I can't wait that long for Levi Garcia, who started his European tour in Azel and then end up in Beta Jerusalem of all places. For them to end up in Greece now. Like, this is not the same trajectory as another player that we all used to love and thing. When I say used to love, like when he was like in his prime and thing with Jovan Jones. Because Jovan Jones was doing very well. He was doing very well in MLS. Yeah, MLS Cup. I think he got 2. Right? And when he came back from Darmstadt, which was in the German league. I think it was his second league.
Yeah.
He ended up not staying that long. He ended up going back to the US. I can't have that happen to Levi. I don't want him to go there too late. I think the best time for that move is while the stock is going up.
Correct.
And as of right now, like I say, any of the 5 leagues, it could be League 1, it could be it could be League 2, it could be Bundesliga 1 or 2.
But you think we could have to take in consideration, would the move between the next 2 years affect his form? Because a lot of players, when they shift from the Greece league compared to our top 5 European league, is a huge shift.
Yeah, the learning curve might be a while, but like I say, it have pre-season. Well, depending on when he get the move, whether it be in the summer, he have pre-season to work out all the kinks and whatnot to get himself acclimated a little bit. But I mean, Levi is just a special. He's like one of the most special players that we had in a while. Like one of the best talents that we had in a while. Right? He's done numbers for the national team every time he comes in, and then when he goes into Greece, since he went to Greece, when he was in Europe, when he started playing in Europe, he's been nothing short of spectacular. Right? The form is nothing. The run of games that he had is nothing surprising, but it's exciting to see. It's still exciting to see him, to see a Trinidad player perform on that level.
It reminds me of Leon Bailey.
Leon Bailey?
Yeah, like you don't want the same thing to Leon Bailey happened to Levi.
No, well, when he came in, like he was top form at Bayer Leverkusen, and then when he came in, like he had the manager situation and thing. He had a couple of nicks and things coming too.
So that's what I'm saying. You don't want the same thing to happen to Levi. So you have to really gauge it. Again, you have to kind of put the pressure onto his managers and his agents to know, hey, these teams could be interested, but are these teams really and truly supporting and ready to back Levi as, let's say, how Athens right now, they made him the target man.
Mm-hmm.
Are these teams willing to make him the target man or have him as a backup?
Cue on the tape. They'll know. Also, Levi, if you're watching this, I also had I have you as in my career mode in FIFA 22. He was playing for Dijon in League 2. I didn't get far, but you do some spectacular things. So I bring you back from 3-0 down and you score the 3 to put it in. And he could dominate League 2 based on just that. based on just that.
But he aiming for league or
He not aiming for league there, but saying if he get league there, that's the entrance into Europe. So once he there, he on Europe radar.
2 years, dude.
Well, 1 year he's alright. 1 year he's spending league there, and he'll be on him.
Levi, if you're watching, you do realize how low this guy had you.
Yeah.
I don't have him low. That's just listen. I have no. Levi, understand this, right? He was coming off the bench for whatever reason. I was like, no, I don't want this. Send me to a different club, and it's in your league. After that, it have little less I could do than to make your performance. I didn't finish the season, but probably if I finish the season, it would have been like in the Prem or something. So at that point, because
wherever he moves,
fucking
he
really
should be vying for starting position.
Correct.
Because as Shem said, this 2 year window is a very important window. So wherever he's going, his demand should be starting position.
yes,
Correct.
So to wrap up, Shem, if you could compare him to one prominent football player, who would it be?
One prominent football player. At this point in time, I can compare him to Aubameyang. I could see him reaching that level. I'm being honest with you. But in his prime. not his being kicked out of Arsenal days, but in his prime at Arsenal, and now that his build back at Arsenal, and yeah, I could see him alongside Aubameyang.
trying to stifle a lot.
So, the sporting facilities in Trinidad. Who is responsible for it? This was a question posted on Total Sport's Instagram page, and we had some responses from our followers. So Tyler, 23, said, partner with the several stakeholders which would contribute towards maintaining the facility or facilities as a similar system to Queen's Park overall. Speedy Smiley, 10, said, how about stop using the National Stadium for carnival fetes or band launches when we have the biggest roundabout in the world? Or a Queen's Park Savannah. Tyler replied to her saying, I agree to disagree, because it is said that most of the funds from these events are used to maintain the facilities, although we don't see much of that occurring, so you have a point. Of course, Coach Atwell added in his comment saying, number one, the revenue coming from the renting the facilities barely covers the costs incurred when hosting these events most times. He also said, there are so many underdeveloped areas that can be repurposed for these party events. Don't tell me you build a cricket stadium, but you throw parties to fund the maintenance. How does that make sense? How cricket tournaments to fund it? When someone throws a party at the stadium, you think that the profits go to the facility? Get real. The rental fees is a drop in the bucket of maintaining the facilities. He continued, there are so many underdeveloped areas that can be used for the parties. So, Caleb, what are your thoughts on those comments?
Well, I would like to agree with a few people underneath there with regards to repurposing other places for events. That is actually a very good point, because you have a lot of areas that can be maintained for these kind of events. Especially because, carnival is part of our culture at Trinidad.
Kyron, away from that. No?
So, having fetes and these kind of events, you would expect that. So, providing proper places for that. But as the coach said, with regards to using those fetes to pay for maintenance, that is a problem, because these facilities that we have for sport, the athletes, some of them don't even get to use it for training. And they just have it running away. And we have this reactive mindset as a society that we just let everything run away. And then when we need it, especially this year when we have the Commonwealth Games, then we rush in to fix things. And that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
We should have things in place, as the person was saying, even we can work with stakeholders or whatnot, to have people maintain it right through, because we are trying to be competitive in sport. We actually have a lot of talents here in sport that they don't even get to use the facilities, and much less, if you can't use the facilities, how you expecting performance? And then the crowd, the people are quick to say, well, disband this, disband that. But then again, they don't have the facilities.
My input would be that is a rubbish excuse about saying that oh, you need to throw the fence to help maintain the
Oh, yeah,
stadium.
for sure.
Help what?
So, okay, are these feds being inside on the field when there's terrible fields inside of the stadium,
Already, yeah.
or are these feds being held in car park?
It's true.
It's a rubbish excuse that they just use to say, all right, well, we just use the facility for something. And I would always come back to say, if you're interested in something, if you love something, you take care of it. We as a people, we don't love sport. We see it as a hobby. So that's why our stadiums reflect what our real intentions
People
is
can
in
go on
sport.
a random feel and sweat. And
Yeah.
treat sport at a competitive level like that.
For example, I could carry you to a community that really loves sport, and you can see how they control their fields are cut,
Sports,
and their grounds are well prepared,
yeah,
and they have feds on the grounds as well, and it looks
and they have
perfect.
lighting and other facilities.
So
on
it
the
all
ground.
falls back on if we really consider sports as something we love or something that's beneficial, or is it as an industry in the country of Trinidad and Tobago?
It's just a side thing.
Yeah. Two things. One, if you're looking for petting space, have a nice little greens and palm, so you can use that.
This shameless plug.
Oh, no, shameless plug. I'm trying to help my community. You know. Two, Trinidad look until 2023 to try and muscle up whatever funds that they could find in the treasury or wherever to try and look nice for the 2023 Commonwealth Games. We're gonna happen after that.
Yeah.
That is what I want to see after that, because we didn't care about how the GPA complex, aka the Socerdrome, because we know it better as the Socerdrome than the GPA complex. And what was the GPA complex named after? Jean Pierre, who helped us deliver one of our only titles, or netball titles. It was a time when we were used to be good in netball back in 1979, right? And now the stadium in tatters. Kyron could tell you that they try to use the basketball arena close by, and the floorboard's not good. It's in a ridiculous state for the, I think it was one of the Paralympics, or where the Special Olympics that they had. Special Olympics that they have there year after year, and because of the state of it, they can't use it properly.
And I think that's why I said, if you love something, you'll see.
Yeah, you'll take care of it.
I could guarantee, I'm not going to say I could guarantee, because then somebody will say prove it.
Don't point your hand on a block for Trinidad
I
Tobago.
can say that you can find many things that could be reasonable and could bring profit back into these stadiums if you look for it properly.
Yes.
Let me just say parties and such is just the tip of the iceberg.
Not just the stadia too, you know. The small little courts in the communities and things that need some upkeep.
For example, the Pleasantville Sporting Complex.
Yeah.
The handball and the volleyball sand pits is grass. So how are we expecting our national players to come and train, and we don't have the best facilities? And it's like a domino effect. Like, you remember the memes when they had the best World Cup in the world, and they had Jack Warner knocking down saying that he bribed for Qatar, right?
Yeah.
It's a domino effect regardless. It's a funny joke, but it's a domino effect. You cannot expect to have bad facilities and expect top of the line athletes, elite athletes. They need the best of the best. And we always come back to the argument, we don't have the money, but I'm sure you can find money if you really dig deep.
Could scrape together a couple $100.
Yeah.
Be a little more resourceful too.
Yeah.
True.
Oh,
That's
I know
that
that
as well.
You know that meme? Not the meme, but you know that videos always come up with the blowtorch paint thing to paint up the stadium and thing. Let me start with that now. We always say, let me buy it. We buy 2 of that. Get somebody to regularly maintain all the stadiums and thing. 3 a stadium at least.
Sure.
And the main question was who would be held responsible for this. And it can be noted that after research, the Ministry of Sport and Community Development is the body responsible for maintaining the sporting facility. And this can be found in the National Sport Policy of Trinidad and Tobago mission statement posted by the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. So moving right along, we talk about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt lost close to $12 million in a $1 billion fraud scheme. So, the Jamaican sprinter had reportedly lost more than 12.7 million, and an investigation is underway by the Jamaican authorities. The company, Stocks and Securities Limited, did not immediately respond to the request for a comment. On its website, the company had asked its client to redirect all urgent inquiries to the Jamaican Financial Services Commission, which is currently investigating the firm. The company had said that it discovered the fraud earlier this month and that several of its clients may be missing millions of dollars. So, Yannick, thoughts?
But it's just a shame. So, of all these things to happen, why would you rob? Why would you rob? Like, one of your
A
greatest.
son of the soil. It's right.
But what? Make his name running on the tracks of Jamaica, and somebody had the evil in their heart to take away what, $12.7 million? That is, I can't do that. But plus, earlier, he done had a gold medal taken away from him because remember that little scandal and thing. That's the we will never forget. But gosh, boy, oh gosh, this is just.
I mean, I don't really know the financial technical aspects of things, but
Me neither. I don't know nothing about
principle
bank and thing, but
is the
still,
principle.
that's a whole lot of money.
The principle. And I
the
feel like,
principle.
to me, first of all, I rate it. First of all,
No!
Don't be right. I know, because you know how brave you have to be to rob the world's fastest person.
Trinidad and Tobago,
Secondly-
I do not support
It was
robbery in
quicker.
any way
Second, I do not
whatsoever.
support robbery.
You just said-
it's like Evil Knievel. He gets paid for the attempt. I actually, like, I don't support it, but just it's
The
what pattern.
audacity.
Yeah, the audacity of it is like, you would watch the world's fastest man and say, hey. And then again, on the other hand, I give props to Usain Bolt, because if I was in those shoes, I was outside that person. Like, it's $12 million. I outside. Yo,
Not just $12 million, that's 12 million
US,
Jamaican dollars.
no, US dollars.
Okay, I almost
I was
get in trouble.
outside every day. You would've-
That is all I was hearing. That's all I was hearing.
And like my window, every time I open your window, and something flying. Just remind you how fast I am. I could catch you.
Man is literally
But wow.
E-train, boy. Come on.
No, I mean, like,
But I
that-
really hope the investigation is fruitful, though, because the audacity.
Yeah.
And then the alleged person showing up to court.
In a walker. I mean, like, this is the irony of it. Like, that is why I say I respect it.
Jamaica's a funny country. Boy. That's all I'm saying.
It's the irony of it being, you have allegedly, first of all, allegedly just robbed the fastest man in the world, and you are in a wheelchair. That is what it is. That is the irony of it. It's the irony of it. That is what I respect pretty much. I don't say, first of all, Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, you saying this. If you see this, I am on your side.
Are you?
Please do not be offended. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Twitter coming after you
Ooh.
with this post.
Can't have that. But what I'm saying is, like, it is a sad thing, first of all, because it's the magic time.
It is.
That is something you're planning for your future. He has children, he has a family.
And the thing is, we
It's
could have used any other investment firm in the world, because they will not deny it. And he decides,
Come home.
Support local.
Exactly.
And then local turn on it. How dare you?
So yes, it's very sad to see when those kind of things happen. And it even though from that perspective, it could like deter other athletes and even sport investors who have been looking to invest in Jamaica with regards to their programs. It could deter them too, knowing that certain banks and financial companies and organizations might end up turning on them one day.
And in the long run, that could take revenue away from the country itself.
Exactly. Because sports tourism could have been a big thing in Jamaica. But this could, even though it's bold to happen to, it would have happened to someone who has a large influence in the sporting world, not just track and field.
Yeah.
So that could have sent ripple effects into other sporting areas in Jamaica, especially ones that were developing. So it's really a sad thing.
Okay. So as we just came out of 2022, I would like to know your top athlete or top moment in the sporting area for 2022. Shem.
I would always say Nicholas Paul winning the Commonwealth Gold. Again, he's one of our favorite athletes. Southbourne. I mean, big up everybody from South, because South is love.
That's
But
a shameless plug.
the fact that he shows his diligence and he shows his determination as an athlete, being able to break his collarbone in an accident and still pushing through it and coming back to competitive sport, that is the highlight of the year for me, 2022. And I really can't wait to see what more can do.
Yeah. Yannick, who are you feeling for 2022?
First, well, for me, is Jareem Richards and the number of accomplishments that he garnered over the course of that year. I managed to watch. I watched a lot of track and field that year, so I got to watch his bronze medal in Doha, the gold medal in the Belgrade Indoor World Championships, and the celebration that came after that. I mean, that was on every social media feed, food track and all that kind of thing. And then, first time I got to watch track and field live in the stadium, he runs 19.83 in the rain. Don't mind the technology that we have with track shoes and all that kind of thing. That's still amazing to see him run that fast in the rain, right? And then to go not in indoor, he had good performances in the outdoor world championships. Don't mind he didn't have a medal there. But then Commonwealth Games now, 200 meters in the 200 meter medal, gold medal winner, and then as part of the 4x400 relay team too. I mean, Jareem living the dream right now, and he's running a good pile of form going into 2023, and then 2024 we have the Olympics. I think he's still gonna be in his athletic prime. So for me, that was my athlete of the year in terms of 2022. My moment of the year, per se, would be just to have sport back in Trinidad and Tobago, like finally being able to watch. I wanted to go and see the track cycling in the velodrome. I didn't get to do that, but I get to watch a number of Trinidad and Tobago games. Right, I never got to do that, so get to watch a set of Ascension League games as well. Just having sport back in the country is all fine and good. And one more thing on Nicholas Paul, right? I want Nicholas Paul to know that the impact that he could have come 2023, 2024, especially in Paris, right? Because look at what's riding for him right now, right? He's going to be, 26, 27 by the time, the 26, maybe 27 by the time that rolls around. We didn't mention that it's known that he used to play football before he went into track cycling, right? Imagine if he wins that gold medal now. What every child in Trinidad looking at him right now, like, not necessarily that they don't have to stop playing football, but there are avenues in sports. Like, you don't have to play football to be recognized as a sporting hero. You don't have to play cricket to be recognized as a sporting hero. You could
even be like on the track running.
Yeah, like those are like when we think about Trinidad sports, we think of those three, right? And to some degree, remember we won in netball too. But this is the first time we had like a track cyclist. We had George Bolwell. We had this swimmer. Not the first time we had a track cyclist.
No, what I'm saying is we have seen, I come back to you saying we are happy to see sport back.
Yeah.
We overlook the fact that our handball team went away, won a tournament for the first time, creating history.
And the thing about that too is I actually saw that develop in UTT where that all began. So to see that become finally Coach
so
Gooden and them winning that championship after all that hard work and thing, all the trials and thing they went through.
Seeing these sports coming out, you have handball, futsal, badminton. It's nice to finally see these.
Even seeing bobsled.
We have a bobsled team.
We had a bobsled team.
It's have no snow in Trinidad.
So you're seeing the aspect of the diversity what sport can have. And we have badminton facilities as well. So I would hope that badminton become a bigger thing in Trinidad in this year and the years going forward. But to spin back, I would agree with Yannick as Jareem being one of the athletes of the year for me, especially him breaking those records and running that 45 flat window and breaking the national record and making that tribute to
achievements and accomplishments just piling on.
Yeah. Making and adding those achievements to his name because that is a great thing for him. And as you say, he riding on something great going forward, he as well as the sport. So I just wanted to spin back on that. Is that honestly, given everything that is going on in sport, the negative, because we can focus on the negative, we can have a lot.
Yeah.
But there are positives as we have highlighted here. So I'm glad to see where sport could take, where we as Trinidad and Tobagoans and the athletes could take sports in the end.
So there's a saying that goes, if you look for the negatives, you will find them.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you look for the positives,
You
will
can
find them.
and you'll find plenty.
So I am kind of happy that sports starting back. So I am tending and hoping to look for the positives in the upcoming years. I know, yes, there's going to be the bad side of it, but I am
People will find it bad, but we will
on the
look for
happier
the
side.
good.
I want the happier side. I want to see Trinidad winning more gold medals in not just athletics and not just track and field. Well,
Championships and other things too.
You should see somebody
we had the
archery
what is her
winning
name?
something.
Gabrielle. The
Judo?
judo.
Right.
Oh, wood, yeah.
Gabrielle Wood. Yes. I mean, come on. Look at how much sports we opening up to our nation. But are these
Two other things too. We finished fourth in 3x3 basketball. We started, for at least as far as I know, we entered that competition last year. We had an early exit, but look, we can't finish fourth. Akil Boyd was a beast.
we are
We
blessed?
beat Argentina, who is a hotbed for basketball. We beat Puerto Rico, who have stars like well, they didn't play on that team, but they produced players like JJ Barea and things. And then we compete against Jimmy Fedet and the United States of America. That's crazy. And Jimmy Fedet putting up crazy numbers in China. So Trinidad and Tobago should be proud of that.
We are blessed with so much talent in sports. And we are overlooking. And we think it's just because of how much talent we have, we overlook it. And it's like it's a regular thing when we don't realize how much of a sleeping giant we are.
Beach
as a
soccer.
nation.
For me, the last
Won.
point in this is that with talent is one thing, but hard work is the other thing, and management of that with hard work, we could reach far. So I would like to see more of that. True. That's true.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, the- Karen, do you have a player of the year? I know you don't have a
We're behind the
I'm
behind the
I'm behind the
behind
scene.
the camera.
Honestly, all of us were in the stadium when
to watch it, yeah.
To watch.
we were record, and I would have been filming. I think Jared was actually pick up Jared.
Big up the boss then.
Yeah.
And it was a moment everybody was on their feet clapping. It was
Right, right.
So Sydney, do you have a
Tyreek Horsford. Yeah, he got bronze. I believe that was Cariflo, Commonwealth Youth Games. Yeah, he got bronze and that throw was amazing. So yes, Tyreek Horsford.
What did he throw in that? I forgot the distance.
I can't remember the distance of that.
It was far.
We can search it, yes.
Far.
It
That's
was
all we had to know. It's far.
Yes. So thank you all for your contributions and of course the eye-opening points. So that brings us to the end of our first episode. Thank you for joining us. To connect with Total Sports, follow us on all social media platforms. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section on which sporting event was your favorite for 2022 and your top athletes that you look forward for this year. Bye.